Hi Pacers. Once again, this is your 10-minute breathing exercise for the week. My name is Natalie. We're working again with some positional things. Last week we talked a little bit about the alignment of the ribcage over the hips and did some extra movements to create a little space for the lungs to expand. If you imagine yourself taking 20,000 breaths a day, and if you're running, you'll be taking a few more. Those 20,000 breaths breathed against resistance of a tight rib cage or a tight diaphragm is going to create the need for a lot of extra energy output. And if we can make that resistance any less or create a little more space or freedom of movement for the lungs, it's going to allow you to move that energy back to where it serves you the best, which I'm imagining might be your legs, to get you up some of those hills. So today will be about, again, the breathing exercises, trying to lengthen that inhale and exhale and create this pause between the breaths to change the blood chemistry so the oxygen gets to where it needs to get as quickly as possible, and also to retrain the body to get used to this new way of breathing, to create new habits where you don't have to take so many breaths and create this state of over-breathing. So as we work to create that, there's a couple of options that we can use to open up our rib cage today. Those stretches you did last week will be great as warm-up too. If you have a rolled towel, there's an option to lay that just along the spine. The hips will go onto the earth as you lay your spine back over the towel, arms beside you, out to a T position, or could even move into cactus, which is a little more intense on the shoulders. But finding a place where you can softly manage to stay, or where you can feel a little bit of restorative sense. Restoration, that's the word I'm looking for. Other option is if you have a bolster, you're welcome to use that too. And if you're getting really intense about it, you can take 2 blocks, aligning one shoulder along for your shoulder blades, the other one resting here for your neck. We'll spend a little time here just so you know the different options. Your shoulder blades go along this, but if you're a little broader in the shoulders, that might sit on the outside of your or the inside of your shoulder blades and feel quite uncomfortable. So some people prefer to have running this direction. The only thing we want to make sure of is where the bottom part of the block is hitting you, and want to make sure it's in a position that's supporting your spine and not causing any discomfort. So being really sensitive to where that bottom of the block is, and making sure that it's around where your shoulder blades are, not too much lower than that. This block can also be placed on the higher setting. If you're feeling your head is hanging too far back, you can keep that block a little higher to keep the chin tucked and keep your neck feeling nice and safe. So you have all of those options. This, when you're on the blocks, it should feel sounds very intense. It should feel comfortable. So there shouldn't be any pain from the blocks into your spine, but it is a fairly intensive posture, so go in easily. The last option is that you can have the block on its lowest setting, either direction, to provide that support for the spine. The last option I'll show you right here is that if you have a yoga mat, you can also use that. It's a little firmer, so it's nice to put a soft blanket over top of it. You might also have a foam roller. They're fairly rigid, and so I wouldn't recommend that because we want to be careful with our spine and move it softly into this extended position. If you again want to put a blanket over top of it or something soft, that's fine. Then, one last option for you tonight, your bolster or yoga mat or rolled blanket or towel can also run this direction. So instead of running along your spine, it's running across the shoulder blades. And this takes a little more kind of adjustment to get into. So as you're laying down, you'll want your shoulder blades onto the blanket or the bolster. And then as you put your head down, push into the feet to slide the tops of the shoulders off the blanket or bolster. And again, arms can be out in a T or in that cactus pose. Once you've arrived there, you can begin to soften the breath. If it feels good, close the eyes. If your lower back feels safe, extend the legs. There's one other option if you're stretching a little further, to put the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side. You might want to put some blankets or bolsters or blocks underneath the knees to support them. Making your body feel as comfortable as it can. Gently lick the lips, close them. Begin breathing in and out through your nose only. Now that you've established that rhythm, breathing in and out through the nose, start to feel the breath move the body. Notice the breath expanding through the side ribs as well as the front ribs. Use the internal force of the inhale to create movement around the rib cage, the lungs. Breathe in. Find a gentle pause at the top of the inhale, staying for 1 to 2 or 3 seconds. Full breath out. Breathing out for 1 moment longer than you breathed in, pause there. Find stillness for 1 or 2 or 3 seconds. Staying for as long as the body feels comfortable before beginning that next inhale. If you notice there's a gasp for breath as you breathe in again, you've stayed for too long. So shorten the space between the breaths so that the breath can stay calm and soft. Moving into what's called 3-part breath. Exhale all your air. Completely empty out. Breathe in, filling the bottom third of the lungs. Pause there. Breathe in, filling the middle third of the lungs. Pause there. Breathe in, filling the very top of the lungs. Pause there. Breathe in even more than you thought you could, full expansion. Pause there. And softly, without gasping, begin to exhale. Letting it leave the body slowly. Gentle pause at the bottom of the exhale. Begin again. Breathe in, fill the bottom third of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in, fill the middle of the lungs and pause. Breathe in, fill the top of the lungs and pause. And finally, expand even more than you thought you could, breathing in. Finding a little more room for expansion, pause. Soft inhale. Emptying out completely. Pausing at the bottom of the exhale. Repeat. Breathe in, filling the bottom third of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in, filling the middle third. Pause. Breathe in, filling the top of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in even more. Extend the lungs and the ribcage as much as possible. Pause. Softly begin the exhale, breathing out all the way. Breathe in, fill the bottom third of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in, filling the middle of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in, filling the very top of the lungs. Pause. And breathe in again, even more than you thought you could. Pause. Full exhale. And that was a longer stretch. We held the breath for a wee bit longer than usual, so we'll begin to exhale a little slower to match the inhale. One last time. Breathe in, filling the bottom third of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in, filling the middle of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in, filling the very top of the lungs. Pause. Breathe in again. Last one. And pause. Full exhale, softly letting the breath go. Breathing out for a little longer than you did last time. Pausing at the bottom of the breath. Return your breath to its natural rhythm. Using your mind to resist the gasping for breath, the hunger for air. Maintain that soft, gentle, calm rhythm. Breathing in and out through your nose only. Once you feel your breath has returned to its normal, gentle breath, for closing, we'll begin an extra long hold at the bottom of the exhale. Breathe in together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Breathe out for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Okay, breathe in. 5-second breath in. Pause at the top of the inhale. Breathe out for 7 seconds. Pause at the bottom of the exhale for 3 to 4 seconds. And begin your inhale and move back to your natural breath. So that was a fairly extended breathing pattern. We'll try that one more time, but not so long. And if that made you feel hungry for air, then we pushed it a little too far. So your breath, the counting, may look more like the next exercise or the last exercise we'll do here. Breathe out all your air together. Breathe in for 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top of the inhale. Breathe out for 5, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom of the exhale. Breathe in again. We'll try it again. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Last one. Breathe in. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Find your natural breath in and out through the nose. Refrain from breathing in through the mouth. Refrain from gasping for air, for speeding the breath up. Once your breath has returned to that comfortable state, in and out through the nose, notice how you feel. You may feel frustrated. You may even feel uncomfortable. But if you follow this daily, even every second day, even every third day, you'll slowly lengthen the breath and get to that point where you can breathe 2 times a minute in this state, maybe even 1.5, without having any discomfort. And that change happens relatively quickly. So if you feel frustrated, don't lose hope. You're just a few breaths away from letting this feel comfortable. Thanks for participating. Keep working on your breath. And there'll be one more video to follow this.